podcast in the world for growing your insurance business.
I'm gonna do whatever it takes, getting it done, any means, get rid of these snakes. Now I'm over my stakes, going all in like steps, get rid of these breaks. Now I ain't never gonna break, double my pace till I go down one of the greats. One of the greats, whatever it takes, whatever it takes.
Can't believe I'm doing this.
Having fun, so that's all.
We like the life. All right. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode of the Seven Figures or Bust podcast, the number one podcast in the world for growing your insurance business. This is episode 195, Monday morning, post Super Bowl, and I am joined back again, back from the dead, from my co-host, Glenn Shelton, who is looking very Seahawk patriotic today. I'm sure you are very ecstatic because you're kind of in the backyard, right, of the Seahawks.
I am part of the Pacific Northwest, so I was excited to see them win. This is my only Seahawks gear that I own, so I'm not a big fan by any means, but happy for them to win. Obviously, Super Monday. I think we have to talk about the Super Bowl. Hopefully you don't make me laugh too much because I feel like if I laugh, I'm going to start coughing. So that's your warning to the audience and to you.
Real quick on the Super Bowl, right? So admittedly, okay, I did not watch it. That being said, I've watched every Super Bowl. I went back in the years. The last time I didn't watch the Super Bowl, I was 17, and I was hanging out with a girl. That's why. I remember it vividly because like we were like wrestling and roughhousing, and she punched me in the face, and I got really mad and left. Like that's what happened. She punched me in the eye, actually. She was in the eye. I think her elbow caught me in the eye or something, and I was like, screw you, and I left. That was the last time I didn't watch the Super Bowl.
Oh my!
Whole head of hair, baby face assassin. At the time,
I don't even know what to say to that.
Okay, I want to hear what you have to say, but admittedly I didn't watch the game. Very busy life I run these days,
Yes.
but I did manage to take the time to troll in the Facebook group about the Super Bowl, which was fun. I enjoyed that. It was like as good as watching it for me. That was fun. We can talk about that a little bit, but I did a little reading, right? So I didn't realize that Sam Darnold was the quarterback. He played for the Jets, right? He was like their highly sought after draft pick, if I remember. And then he was bad, and all of a sudden he's not bad, and he wins the Super Bowl. Like I don't.
The Jets are bad, guys. Like, let's be honest here. Who goes to the Jets and like comes out with a prolific career, has a great career? I think he got a little bit of a bad rep with the Jets. I didn't realize he came from USC. I forgot about that until this whole Super Bowl thing. So, USC, I don't know if he was there for 2 or 3 years. Then I think he was first round draft to the Jets. He was with the Jets for like 3 years. Then he kind of bounced around. Crazy that Minnesota let him go after they were such a winning team with him last year. And then to see him get the Super Bowl, I thought was cool. I thought that when the game itself, the actual football game, I think went about as expected. I just didn't think the Patriots were that good. The Broncos, if Bo Nix hadn't broke his ankle 2 weeks ago, it definitely would have been the Broncos in the Super Bowl, not the Patriots. And the Seahawks team was just incredible all the way around. And I will say, too, Jason Myers, the kicker for the Seahawks, passed LaDainian Tomlinson. I can't talk to LaDainian Tomlinson.
LT.
Yes. The kicker passed the LT for the most points ever scored by a single player in a season. And he got snubbed for MVP, in my opinion.
Wait, the kicker did?
The kicker. Listen to this.
Wait, what are we talking about?
So LT's listen to this. This blew my mind.
I remember LT's
yesterday.
season. So my dad's family's from San Diego. We were Charger fans growing up. So LT was like a god in our house.
He was, yeah.
I think he had like 28 rushing touchdowns that year, 4 or
Yes.
5 receiving,
Yes.
something like that. It was like 30,
They went deep.
30
They
something.
made a deep playoff run. I don't think they went to the Super Bowl that year, but I think they went.
Drew Brees that year, didn't they?
Yeah, I don't think they went to the Super Bowl though, if I remember
No.
correctly.
They've
Anyways,
been to the
he
Super
had
Bowl since the 90s.
the infographic that popped up yesterday. I'm going to tell you. So he scored 198 points that season that you're talking about. 198 points by himself, right? That was the record for most points ever scored by a single player. That got broken this year by the Seahawks kicker, Jason Myers.
Wow.
202 points.
That's wild.
He have kicked another. I think he had more after that. I think he kicked more points out of it. So it's like, which there's a whole nother argument where like, is kicking ruining football because these kickers are becoming like superhuman? They can like drill kicks at like 70.
Right.
It's like, why are we even playing? Maybe it is soccer after. Maybe football is football after all. Like, if we can kick 70-yard field goals, we're gonna stop playing football. We're just gonna like run it 3 times and kick a ball the whole length of the field, you guys. Like, that's football.
That's quite the foot. That's quite the leg.
Yeah.
To kick a field goal that far. I mean, at that point, like, you don't even have to get very far down the field to get any points, right? You get like, if I remember right, you get 30 yards in and you can kick a field goal and get some points on the board like that. That's crazy.
I think the record for longest field goal was secured by I think the kicker's last name is Little on the Jaguars. I think he kicked 70 yards this year. So that means if you get the ball in like the 30 to start, you basically just have to get like 15 or 20 yards. So you get like a first down and a half, and now your kicker's in range potentially. Like, it's just, it feels weird. It feels wrong. Like, I don't know. I don't even know what to say about that. But anyways, I do want to get to.
It's not like visually pleasing football.
No.
Right.
No. Not unless you want. But yeah, it just kind of defeats the purpose of the game in a lot of ways, because you're trying to get the whole length of the field, and if you can get a first down, 2 first downs, and then kick the whole. Yeah. Anyways, I want to get to the business side of the Super Bowl, because that's honestly one of my favorite parts. I'm not really a true Seahawks fan. I'm kind of pretend to be one, so I didn't really care a ton about these teams. I love the commercials. I love knowing
commercials
that.
Are great.
I was talking to my kids yesterday as we were watching. I'm like, that was probably $10 million right there. I'm like, we're watching these. Some are great. Some are really stupid. Some are like really basic, and I'm like, man, that's an incredible amount of money they just spent on that ad. So I love the commercials, and I do want to talk about the halftime show a little bit too, because I think there's actually a lot of business-related decisions behind the halftime show that I really haven't seen many people talk about. It obviously became super politicized. So I was kind of
curious about that. I didn't watch it.
Talk about it. Talk about it, and then I'll tell you kind of what I think is going on.
I didn't watch it, so I don't have that much to say. The only thing I know is Bad Bunny. People are either upset about Bad Bunny or like Bad Bunny. Elon Musk wants him to change his name to Good Bunny, which I thought was very funny. Which I guess this is an old thing. This isn't a new thing. It was like a resurfaced like tweet. He said he'd pay him $1 million to change his name to Good Bunny. And I think that should happen, because I think that's the funniest thing I've ever heard in my life. And then I know there was this alternative TPUSA show.
There was
with Kid Rock, and I didn't watch that either. But I heard that people said he was lip syncing, which I'm like, what? But the thing about that was, people, when I was reading about it, people are like, oh, TPUSA pulling eyeballs away from the Super Bowl. And then like it plateaued at 5 million views, and like the Super Bowl halftime show got like 140 million views.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you didn't pull anything away.
Yeah.
No. Anyway.
So kind of, I'll tell you kind of what I'm thinking. And I really haven't seen this as part of the discussion much. Maybe it's out there, but most of it has been around this, like, you either like Bad Bunny or you don't like Bad Bunny, or, you
can't get over that name.
Yeah.
I don't really know who he is. Like, I don't understand the Bad Bunny.
Well, he sings almost exclusively in Spanish, so
Oh,
that makes it tough if you don't know Spanish to maybe enjoy his music as much. And that was part of the reason why I didn't really know who he was before he got picked to be on the Super Bowl. Um, but again, I want to explain what I think the NFL is doing. So NFL has been super popular in the United States for 50 years, right? They've essentially taken over Sundays as a religion. I mean, the Super Bowl is basically a national holiday. I
right.
mean, the basketball tournaments that I'm a part of with my kids, like they happen every single weekend, but Super Bowl Sunday, there's like no game Super Bowl, like it's literally like a national holiday, right? So 340 million people here in the US, roughly, right? 350 million people in the US. Where do you go if you've already taken over the United States as a business and you're trying to continue to grow your audience? What do you do? Where do you go?
I mean, the logical answer would be probably across seas to Europe.
Yes, you have to go out of the country, right? So the number I saw shared was between the Caribbean, South America, and Latin America, Mexico, that there's almost 650 million people. So you're talking about a blue ocean, I think, for the NFL in a lot of ways. Essentially almost twice as many people. They announced the schedule for the NFL next year. They're going to be playing almost like 12 or 13 games out of the country next year. So they're going to be playing more games out of the country than they ever have. There's rumors that they might get a couple of NFL teams in England in the next few years, which would be crazy. But who knows if that's actually going to come to fruition or not. But the point is that I think when they were strategic, the strategy behind the scenes with the NFL is if you realize this and you say, okay, we have this blue ocean of the Caribbean, Latin America, South America. They're close to the US. There's already some involvement with the NFL where they kind of understand what's going on. How can we reach this audience, these people? How can we reach them in a bigger way? Bad Bunny was a perfect pick, right? That I guarantee you there's going to be more eyeballs on that, more eyeballs on the game for South America, Latin America, and the Caribbean than ever before. So I thought that was a great PR move personally. And I think obviously they have some really smart people over there at the NFL behind the scenes because more eyeballs they get, the more merch they sell, the more tickets they sell, the more they can charge for ads. That's their whole business, right?
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't feel like I have much to contribute to the Bad Bunny conversation because I didn't see it. I don't know. I don't even think I know what he looks like, to be honest with you. I picture a picture of Bunny. I don't know.
I thought he did great. I thought it was a very cool show. Obviously, I'm not fluent in Spanish, so I didn't necessarily know everything he was singing. Someone got married. Someone got married in the middle of his show, which was crazy. Apparently, it was a real wedding, from what I heard.
Okay, I want to ask this last question, and then I want to move on because there's stuff I want to get to on today's show.
Yeah.
Why were people so upset about his halftime show? That's what I'm really curious about. Like, did he say like "Death to America" in another language or something? Like, what am I missing here?
I mean, the message at the end of his show was "Together we are America." He had it on a football. He held it up. They ran out a bunch of flags of different countries. Honestly, if I'm being like super honest, I think a lot of people don't understand that Puerto Rico is part of America. If I'm being just like brutally honest with you right now, I think that's what's going on. I'm just being super honest. Like, I think there's a big part of the population that they don't understand that Puerto Rico is actually part of it. It's not a state.
It's a U.S. territory.
Territory, yes. Yeah. But it's still, if you're born in Puerto Rico, you are still an American.
Like Greenland, potentially? I don't know.
Not yet, but we'll see.
Maybe, probably not. But, okay. All right. Yeah, I'm just, from the outside looking in.
Right. I didn't get it either. I didn't get it either. I'm like, I don't understand. Yeah, I don't understand the hate.
Part of it is I didn't watch it, so like it just kind of spikes my curiosity. Now, I do think there's a certain thing that happens each year, no matter who the artist is performing at the halftime show, that people are like, that's the worst show ever. Like I hear
Every
it
year.
every single year. It doesn't
Every
matter who it
year.
is. It could be Dr. Dre, Katy Perry. It doesn't matter.
The Weekend.
Yeah. So anyway, I think there's probably, I'm sure there's more to it than that. I
There
just
probably is.
didn't watch it. Admittedly,
Yeah,
like people have been looking for reasons to come at me lately for things I'm saying, even if I don't say anything. So I'm taking this opportunity to say I didn't watch it. I don't know. I plead ignorance. I don't know.
well, and the thing is, like, a lot of the hate around him in the show came before it happened. So that's
Oh, I
why
see.
that's why I'm like, there's got to be something else at play. Like, it can't even be the show because there was already so much conflict before he even performed. So that's why I'm
Got
like,
it.
there's got to be something going. And again, I do think some people here in the U.S. don't realize Puerto Rico is part of the U.S. I really do think that's part of it for sure.
Mm.
But let's move
We
on.
got
That was
we got a
Super
lot to get
Monday.
to. We got a lot to get to. Okay, so sponsor. I'm going to move into the sponsor of this episode. Get that out of the
Yes,
way. I have
please
two
do.
topics I want to get to today, and not a lot of time to do it. So, first thing, sponsor of episode 195, guys, is the 7-Figure Blueprint event. We are in the ballpark of about 50% sold out already. We're like 3 or 4 days into the announcement of it. It will sell out really, really fast. And if you're not familiar with what the Blueprint event is, it is a small, intimate event. It is not the summit that will have a maximum ticket capacity of 50 people. And it will be in Dallas, Texas, March 24th. It's a one-day event with multiple speakers. And it's only $197 a ticket, incredibly affordable. And it's going to be a really fantastic, really good, intimate event. Some of the speakers that are going to be speaking are going to be Andrew Saul, Glenn, of course, myself, Taylor Martin of Senior Security Benefits, Jessica and Tyler McDaniel, Lester Kahn of Agent Pipeline. If you've been to the first couple of summits, I'm sure you saw Lester Kahn speak, one of the best speakers that we have in our space. And I was able to confirm last week Anna Patrick of Integrity, who's on the technology side of things. And if you don't know, many of you probably do know, Anna Patrick is a rock star. She was on the CSG actuarial side of things. And yeah, I'm super excited that we were able to get her to do the tech session for Integrity. So really strong lineup, good, intimate, small group of people. We're going to have some activities post event that are going to be really fun. And on top of everything, it's inside of the Integrity Marketing Building in Dallas. If you've never been there, it's an experience. It's one of the most amazing buildings I've ever been in. So make sure to get your tickets. Come on out. It will sell out really quick. And we hope to see you in Dallas. So that's our sponsor, 195.
Whoop, whoop.
Okay, shifting gears. Okay, so I have two topics I want to get into. First one. This is, I feel like it could be its own main topic, and maybe it should have been. But I'm curious of your take on it. Do you have to be a politician to go far in this business?
You mean in general?
Is it possible? Yes, in general. Is it possible?
Like as an agency owner?
Yes. In the insurance industry, in our space, the senior insurance space, the Medicare, health, life space.
I think that's a loaded question. I think it depends on your business model. I think it depends on your business model. Like, I think as an FMO, it requires more politicking than if you're an independent agent. Obviously, you can really do and say whatever you want. And I see some of you out there who kind of rep that style and respect, right? You're a solo producer. You don't care if you ever bring on an LOA. You don't care about anything but just keeping your little book cranking, and in return, you get loud and you'll say whatever you want, whenever you want, however you want to say it. The flip side of that, though, is if you're an FMO, if you're recruiting a bunch of agents, if you're, a big agency, I think it's kind of a scale of like the bigger your company is, the more of a politician you need to be, is kind of, I guess, in my head what I'm thinking. And then it's also like how your business is structured. That would kind of be my answer, I guess.
I've been thinking a lot about this lately, and I feel like the way I've always looked at it as the politicians are very good at getting along with people in the space, which is important. But I've always personally looked at several of them as inauthentic. And I've always valued authenticity. Not everyone by any means, but right. I think there's a place for it. There's a place, that it's appropriate. I've kind of been learning over the years how to be a better politician myself. But at the same time, authenticity probably, I don't know. I think it's incredibly valuable in some businesses, but I'm starting to question if it actually is valuable in ours.
Authenticity,
because I don't think you can be both a politician and authentic.
I think it's a fine line. It's kind of like when you start, using like phrases like an attorney would, where like you can say something that's truthful, but you're saying it in a very vague manner. Like, we support this insurance carrier, but in reality, you don't write any of that carrier. You can't stand that carrier, but you still technically have a contract with that insurance carrier. Like that's right. The sort of lawyering that I think goes on at the top.
It's interesting to me because I do feel like this is a conversation that I think is valuable for a lot of people because they don't really make a guidebook on that. And there's not really a lot of people that talk about this type of thing, but it's like everybody says they value authenticity, but if you're really authentic, like let's take that example that you just mentioned a second ago, right? Like there's a carrier. If that same person came out and criticized the carrier instead,
right?
That's authentic. That's being 100% authentic. That's being real.
But now there's blowback, right?
Yes, you offend the carrier. You maybe even get terminated by the carrier. Things like that. So
you offend the agent reps. You could offend agents who write for that carrier. You could offend captive agents who work with that carrier, and all of a sudden it's just this cluster. But you were transparent. You were being truthful with your words.
You're authentic. Yeah.
You're being authentic.
I mean, it's an interesting kind of caveat, I think, because everybody says they always want authenticity, but then a lot of those same people work with people that are not authentic. But maybe they view them as authentic. Maybe they're that good of politicians. Maybe the goal should be to be such a good politician that people think you're authentic, even when you're not.
I think I'd like to believe there's a middle ground. I'd like to believe that there's a gray area in between on this where you can be authentic while at the same time. I mean, as we're talking about this, I'm just thinking about things that we publicly came out and said, and we're definitely on the authenticity side, in my opinion,
and we get massive blowback.
yeah,
like we get so much blowback, and we're and we're our business is cranking. Our business is doing really well, but could it be doing better if we were fake and lied to you guys?
We could be quadruple our current size if we just lied. If we got up and chose lies every day.
Chose lies.
That's That's literally what you think. That's literally hello, Medicare agents. Another beautiful day in the USA. Keep writing.
Hello there, agents. It's time. It's time that we talked about things going on in the business.
I have a list of every insurance carrier I love. Please hold.
We're going to go
while I
down the
read.
list. We'll start at the list with
First off, WellCare. I love you, WellCare.
You've done a great job for me and my family. Moving on down the list. Wellaby. What a great name. We love you, Wellaby.
Wellaby, very popular in Australia because it sounds like you're in the outback.
I've been around since you were Medico. Some people still call you Medico. I make sure to correct them.
Yeah, I don't know. I think at the end of the day, it's like I'd rather stick to my guns and be as authentic as possible than try to say stuff or be something that's not real in hopes that it helps the business grow a little bit bigger.
Right.
I think that's kind of how we've operated.
Yeah. That's always been my mentality. It's an interesting thing though, because it's just interesting to kind of take a step back and look at the masses and be like, okay, you say you want authenticity, and then when you get it, you're mad, and then when someone doesn't give it, you praise. And yeah, anyway, something I've been thinking about. Just curiosity killed the cat.
There's no way. It's like getting picked to be a halftime singer for the Super Bowl. It doesn't matter. You pick anybody. There's blowback every year, right? Just like you said, it's the same thing with this. Is like you could be a super politician or you could be super authentic, and you're gonna get some level of blowback either way on both sides.
Yeah, just something to think about. Main topic at hand I want to shift into. I want to spend as much time on this as we can before we have to close the episode out. But very interesting. This might even need a part 2. We'll see how this goes. If I ran CMS, I would ... Now, I think that the rules here have to be within reason. Like within realistic bounds. Because obviously you could be like, if I ran CMS, I would make every Medicare Advantage app $1 million in commission for me and no one else. Like you could get crazy with it like that. But let's say we took you, we plopped you at the head of CMS. What changes would you make within reason? How would you run it? What would be your goal and why?
The little Dr. Oz behind me.
Take him out. We take him out.
I clone him, and then I put my soul in his clone's body. Why don't you go first? I feel like you've put more thought into this. I want to hear your thoughts first. Yeah.
So I thought a lot about this because you have to look at it from a standpoint of what is best for the industry.
Yeah.
Right. And to me, I feel like there's 3 things that I wish CMS did more of. Number 1, I wish the rules were practical and made sense.
Yeah.
Across the board. Like I would take all the rules that make no sense
rule.
and I would throw them away, and I would like find a way to make it like impossible for it ever to be brought back or something. I don't know how I do that. Maybe it might be an abuse of power, but because I don't want the next person following me to come in and be like, time to bring it back. I would get rid of all of those rules, but at the same time, if you're going to do that, this is my number 2. You need to find a way to prevent bad actors and fraud and bad customer experience to rise. Because typically, now I am of the opinion that additional rules that don't make sense don't really change that, but they might not get as much attention or focus because it's like, oh, look at these rules. These rules are solving these problems, So how do you actually police rules to where they're effective? Well, I think to me, the current system is the carriers police the rules. I don't think that can work. I think there needs to be a subsidiary department of CMS that's in charge of enforcing the rules. Because the whole system now is, rules aren't followed, more rules. Rules aren't followed, more rules. Rules aren't followed, more rules. What you need is an unbiased party to enforce the rules. And what you need is rules that actually make sense, that are practical. Those would be my two. And then I think the third thing is, I would I'm questioning if I should even say this.
Uh-oh.
I would create a broker system to where there's an additional bonus for brokers that meet a certain criteria of standards of quality that the carriers are allowed to pay.
Ooh.
So like, let's say,
like retention
with the carriers, not, a certain percentage of complaints or under, things like that. Because I do think what that would do is that would kind of go into the direction that we're going right now, that emphasizes quality of business instead of quantity of business when the two don't match. You can get quantity and quality, great, but quality should never be compromised by quantity. So I think that would be kind of an interesting thing as well, like an incentive for quality business.
I like that. And I bet if CMS heard you, they'd be like, yes, this is great. The guy with the Wendy's coffee, he knows what he's doing.
Mehmet, time to go.
One thought I had as you were talking there that I think would be really cool. So essentially, we live in a dictatorship when it comes to CMS administration. I have no say. I have no say in who the administrator is. I have no say in the rules that they pick. It is literally up to the CMS gods. Whatever they want to do, we have to play by. It would be cool if it was more of a democracy. What if everyone who had an MPN could vote? What if the final rule was so like local? I love local politics. I'm also a huge Thomas Jefferson fan. He was a big fan of
I didn't know
small
that.
local. Yeah. Oh my, he's probably my number one founding father. If I had to pick one founding, oh yeah, TJ baby. I love Thomas Jefferson, and
Okay.
he was really really big on local government, and basically his concept was like, and I'm not saying like this is even necessarily feasible in today's world, but his whole concept was like a really thin, narrow national government and a really strong local government. And so like you look at like your local government and you have these like propositions and like you have like a council, you have a lot of say in what happens in your community, right? You have a lot more pull when it comes to like something like the presidential election. My opinion and my vote means nothing. But in my community, I definitely feel like if I really wanted to make a change, I could definitely get behind it. I could probably get people involved and have a lot more say. And it'd be cool if we had a system in place where like if you have an active NPN, then you get to vote, right? Doesn't everyone have Christian, who is your number one founding father? Go ahead, Christian.
I've never thought about my number one founding father, to be honest with you. Never put the time in.
You're not a politician, clearly.
No.
Only politicians have a number one founding father.
Another one founding father.
TJ!
I like that idea. I like that idea though. I like the idea of, but here's the thing. I think if agents were voting exclusively, they'd only vote for what's good for agents and not what's good for consumers. maybe not all agents, and like every agent in the comments is like, I would not do that. I would vote for what's good for the consumer, and I would
Well,
not think about
so
myself.
so here's the thing.
But
I think you have to have like a body. So like kind of similar to a CMS administrator. There has to be like a body of elected individuals. And it'd be cool if
Mhm.
they were actually insurance brokers, right?
That'd be great.
So you have this like big council. They put together proposals and then we vote on it. So we don't I don't get to create the rules, but I get to vote on what should be a rule or not. 48-hour rule, everybody's voting against it, right? Nobody's voting for that. But that way the council hopefully is able to stay objective about what's best, because I agree, like it really needs to be what's best for the Medicare beneficiary. Maybe there's even some Medicare beneficiaries actually on the board too, you know.
You know how with the NBA All-Star game,
Okay. There it goes. We had something for a second, you know. There was something tangible here.
The NBA
It's just
All-Star
gone.
game does a mixture of fan votes, press votes, and I think like executive votes or something like that. It's like the percentage of these
Okay.
votes is taken
Okay.
into consideration. Maybe it's something like that, where there's like
Yeah.
this board, right? Then there's agents as a whole. They could be like the fan vote.
Yeah, I tell my kids whenever we vote on anything, I'm like, my vote counts as two. So, but yeah, maybe there's a system. I almost feel like we could put together any system right now here on the pod, and it's going to beat what we're doing now, where CMS just kind of gets to blindly choose the rules. I guess it's tough too because sometimes Congress is handing stuff down to CMS and saying, I mean, look at the Inflation Reduction Act, look at the IRA.
Right.
That wasn't even CMS. Congress was just like, here you go.
Now make it happen.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
as much as I want to give crap to CMS, there's stuff that even comes down from above them. So it's obviously a really kind of convoluted system that's in place right now. But I love, Paula commented here on the stream, voting rights for agents. I'm a huge fan of that idea. Like we should,
Yeah, me too.
instead of the whole, comment on this, drop your comment on the proposal you got. Like, how about we vote on this? How about you take my MPN, you validate I'm a real agent, and I will give you a real comment, a real vote on what I think is going on here. This episode of the Seven Figures or Bust podcast is brought to you by the Seven Figure University. SevenFigureUniversity.com is a culmination of Christian Brindle's and mine's educational videos that we have developed over the past 2 decades of combined experience in the senior insurance space. There's more than 250 videos, hundreds of hours of content that can help you become a top producer or a top producing agency in the senior insurance space. We're talking about videos of how to work with specific carriers, how to do different types of marketing, such as seminars or Facebook advertising, how to generate content in the niche to help grow your business, how to grow an agency, all sorts of things. There's so much value in this. It's unbelievable. Christian, what do agents need to know about Seven Figure University?
Seven Figure University can best be thought of as an agency blueprint in a box that's put together for you that brings you step by step in every facet of building a successful seven-figure insurance agency and lays it out all in front of you so you can follow along. Whether you guys need help with marketing, whether you guys need help with branding, whether you guys need help with hiring, training, standard operating procedures, systems and processes, automation, you name it, it's covered in this course. Not only that, you get access to my weekly training calls every Thursday that go from January through the end of September on a week-to-week basis. And you can attend those live and ask questions live. And then, of course, the recordings are put into the university afterward if you can't attend it and make the live training. So there's just so much value. It's the gift that keeps on giving, and it's a great investment into your business to kind of keep you up to date on what's going on, but also kind of point you in the right direction in various things that you're struggling with.
Some of the best training you'll be able to find, you guys, in one spot for one price. Go to sevenfigureuniversity.com and learn more.
Let's get back to the show. Yeah, I like that quite a bit more because, you know, every time I say this, I get in trouble. So I might as well say it again, and get us in trouble once again. I genuinely believe that, the comment on this thing and CMS will read it and they'll think real hard about what you're saying. I think no one ever reads them.
No.
99% of them. Maybe like one comment. They're like, oh, that's dumb. And then they close it.
When the FCC, I think it was the net neutrality, when they were talking about all of that, they did the same thing on that side of it. They're like, hey, we're looking at eliminating net neutrality and comment below. And at the time, I think bots had taken over the comment. It's like, how can you even validate these comments if half of them are bots anyways? Right? It's like, what is a comment worth? A comment's not worth anything. I'm sorry, you guys. I love those of you who do comment and you put a lot. I've seen it, right? I've seen some people will put together like a short story and they're like citing references and they're talking about Medicare beneficiaries and personal experiences and they're putting it in the comments here. It's like, I appreciate you guys. I really do. But it's probably similar to when there's like a 30-mile-an-hour wind and you're just screaming into that windstorm. I don't think anyone's genuinely hearing you, unfortunately.
I would agree. And I do think that people that rile up agents to leave the comments and like, it's almost like you're pressured into doing it as well. You're guilted into doing it. Like, don't you care?
Oh, yeah.
You might as well leave the comment. Like, those people are the sickest human beings. Those people are the sickest human beings on the planet, as far as I'm concerned.
Wasn't there a petition going around for the last final rule too? I thought there was someone. Yeah. Did you sign the petition?
Yeah, the petition. And
petition.
And guess where that got us? Nowhere. Yeah. You know what actually did something with that? Legal action.
Yeah,
lobbyists.
Yes. Yeah. How are you going to feel if this passes and you didn't sign the petition, Christian?
CMS is hosting feelings hours where they will listen to your feelings. We're going to get a lot of shit for this episode. I have no doubt. I don't care anymore. I've stopped caring. I really don't care.
He's like, I thought a lot about this politician thing, and I don't care anymore. I'm not a politician.
Yeah, I'm not a politician. I don't care.
Let me ask you, while we're on this subject, what for like the administrator, the person kind of at the top, do you think a shorter length of period for that person's role would be beneficial? Or do you think having... Because it's like, what if we swap somebody every 2 years? Would that be helpful?
I could see that being like, I don't like that as much because then it's like, I'm trying to think of an analogy here that works. Okay. When you have a dog and he has a chew toy and you're playing tug of war with it and it's going back and forth and he's tugging and you're tugging and that's basically what it'd be like. Like the direction would be like, all right, we're going down ultra regulation mode and we're going down this one. Like, I think it would be really like nothing would get done is my kind of first reaction.
I think there's a lack of independence with CMS. I guess I wish CMS was more of an independent body. Some of these government bodies are a lot less involved in the political side of it. But because the CMS administrator is appointed by the president, it basically makes it a left versus right every time.
Every time.
So it'd be nice if it was more independent, like other. I don't necessarily have I was gonna say the FBI, but I don't even know if the FBI is really that independent anymore.
It's not. It's
basically the same thing. But I'm sure that I'd like to think there's maybe the Department of Transportation. Maybe there's a government body that's more independent out there that CMS could be more like. because I think that would be beneficial for all of us. It'd be beneficial for the brokers, beneficiaries. Like, we should be operating not on a 4-year basis where you're executing on this one person's goals or one party, their goals, because just like you said a second ago, it's like back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. It should be more of a sustained outlook.
I have an idea that I just thought of
Let's hear
that I think would be a great change. If nothing else that we said is possible, I think there should be one agent, one person that's in the industry that basically it's like an election. All the agents have a chance to vote for this person, and multiple people can like run against each other and things like that. And whoever wins has a seat at the table at CMS to give their opinion and have their influence on what's done and what's not done.
I'm imagining you sitting at the table and you're just like screaming expletives at them. You're like, 48-hour rule? You're just like pounding the table. You're just like, what are we doing?
Let's be real. I would not win that election.
I think some type of representation would be great. You know, obviously voting rights is probably really extreme. That would be just but something like having an agent that could sit at the table, someone who's actually a producer, would be really cool. I mean, technically, this guy is a producer, by the way. I'm pointing to my Dr. Mehmet Oz. Early on, if you guys saw that episode, I actually think I found his MPN because he was a licensed broker where he was splitting off deals. But having like a true in the field producer who could be a part of these conversations, because I think a lot of times CMS gets lost in this like arbitrary trying to create rules, and they kind of lose sight of what the day-to-day looks like.
Yeah, I mean, and I do think having somebody like me in that role would be a good thing for agents.
I knew that's what this was.
I just don't think I would
start a petition.
If it was
Christian going to CMS.
Hey, if someone's watching, you start the petition. If you get 100 people to sign it, I'll give you $100.
Oh my God. What is the petition that you get to go
yeah.
sit in?
They have to listen to me for like 6 hours.
You're filibustering. You're just filibustering at CMS. You're like, nobody leaves this room until I sit down. You just have like giant cards you're tearing through. You're like, I'm going to filibuster for 48 hours so you know exactly how long I have to wait before I can sell a Medicare Advantage plan. Just sleep deprived all of CMS.
Be like ready to be done yet? Well, so was I, and so was Miss Betty. We were ready to be done.
40 hours, Dr. Oz. Sit tight. We got it. Where to go? That's hilarious.
Oh my goodness. But
I like that concept though, because I feel like that's really achievable. And I guess you could say, you know, obviously I keep thinking about groups like HAFA, obviously Renelle we had on the show. She's amazing.
Renelle's awesome. Renelle is an agent, you know, and I'm a big fan of Renelle.
Yeah.
We just renewed our HAFA membership for ESI the other day.
Yep.
So we are supporters. You know,
she's going to be at the summit. Yep.
NABIP, I'm going to mute my mic. I'm just going to turn it off.
So there are organizations out there who are trying to achieve representation for us and quote unquote kind of get us a seat at the table. You know, I think there's a big debate around what the success of that looks like.
I think
it's happening.
There's two debates, right? And it's one of those things where every time we talk about this, we're told that we're not allowed to talk about this.
Yes.
And that's what bothers me probably more than anything else. I would be willing to talk to somebody. If you and I did an episode, I'm going to circle back to my point, but you and I did an episode years ago where we criticized NABIP. I don't know if you remember this. This was before I think we even merged.
Yes. I definitely remember this episode.
And
It was before it was Nabip. It was
we
Nahu,
yeah,
right? Wasn't it Nahu?
when it was Nahu, somebody did reach out to us who is at the time was pretty big on the board there. Somebody that I had met and I liked quite a bit, and he offered to come on and have a conversation with us. And I kind of just regret that we never took him up on that, because I think that would be a productive conversation.
Yeah.
Because to me, the biggest thing that irks me is that we can't talk about it. Like I don't like that. You know, why can't we talk about it? What's the big secret? You know, if like if it's just obviously wrong information, why can't you just be like, here's how it's wrong? You know. But anyway, the two things I was going to get to with them is, number one, to your point, it was the debate on the effectiveness of the lobbying. But then number two, what are they actually lobbying for? Because that's another thing, right? Like I as a member, if I'm a member of NABIP, do not have any say on what they're actually pushing for. Even when I've gotten involved with like my local chapter and things like that. Sometimes I think they're advocating for things that I don't think is valuable for the industry or for agents, and they're not talking about things that are very valuable. So I don't like that at all. But again, I think we'd be willing to talk to somebody, don't you think?
So
on the show?
I would love to. There is a comment from Daniel here. He said, "Why can't you talk about this?" You want to address that directly?
It's not that we can't talk about it, it's that there's an attempt of cancellation if you talk about it.
Attempt of cancellation. The part that I struggle with too is that these groups, whether it's NABIP or anyone else,
it's a religion. It's a religion.
Well, that's part of it, right? It is almost like an identity. It's also like any positive change. It seems like everybody wants to secure that as a victory that they personally achieved. And I do question, did you actually help make this change, or was this change going to happen anyways? Or did this change come from somebody else, a different angle? Did Dr. Oz just decide, hey, we're not doing this anymore? That's part of my struggle with it too, is like, but I guess at the end of the day, the more representation we can have as agents in any form, I think is a positive thing. But I would love to have someone from NABIP on. I really would. And I would love to discuss this at a deeper level, including past criticisms that we've had, where it just feels like not enough is happening, right? And again, I'm willing to admit that, I am maybe a little naive. Maybe I'm a little uninformed, right? Like I'm not sitting in DC trying to represent us as brokers, right? So I'd love to get educated if I am uninformed on this, but
sure.
I would love that. This is officially a call out to anyone at NABIP. Join the show.
My stance has always been, I will talk to anybody. I'm not scared. And it's not saying that I want to have some contentious conversation with somebody, but I am willing to have an exchange of ideas on what
Insane Clown Posse.
Insane Clown Posse.
Get somebody on.
Yeah. But truthfully, right? Like,
yeah, same.
There is that, I don't run and hide. If I have a criticism for somebody and they want to address it, let's address it. Let's talk about it. There's very few people that have the courage to do that, though, and sit here on the show and look me in the eyes and talk to me.
Yeah, I think it can make for a very interesting piece of content. I think when there are conflicting ideas that can be discussed in a reasonable manner. The problem is a lot of people don't want to have a real discussion. A lot of people just want the sound bite, or they just want to comment and poke. They don't actually want to get into an argument behind it. But yeah, I would totally love that. You know what we should do too is we should get somebody who's like a huge fan of like for one payer, like a one payer system. We should really get into it. Oh, they should get somebody on.
Bring somebody on. I'm here to talk about it.
Yeah.
I have a lot of ammo there.
Yeah. I know you
Ready
love the
to go.
contention. I know you love the contention. So
It's not that necessarily. It's just more like I feel like if somebody wants to hide something or sweep something under a carpet and not have something discussed, I feel like that's what should be discussed.
absolutely. I totally agree.
It's the top of the hour. We should probably move into
Yes.
final thoughts.
Top of time.
Top of time, as a wise man once said. I guess I'll start with my final thoughts. Guys, I think for me, relating back to the main topic of today's show, I think there is agent representation with CMS. There's people doing good things. I just wish it was a little bit more, and maybe that's a pipe dream. Maybe it's one of those things that is not realistic, or, a potential actual possibility based in reality here. But that's kind of my thought on it. I think a lot of the rules that come from people that have never worked in the industry. They're not licensed. They're bureaucrats and lawyers. That's why you get the combination of gobbledygook, as it's been called in the past, that comes down oftentimes between CMS. Not all the time, but oftentimes. So it'll be interesting to see what this upcoming final rule actually looks like. I'm sure we'll do 50 episodes about it when it does come out. And
we will be the ones to break. Yeah, we will be the first ones to stream about it, as is tradition here in Seven Figure Medicare Agent.
Yeah. And that's my final thoughts on 195. Glenn, your final thoughts.
I know we're in overtime. Can I share a commercial from yesterday really fast with you? I just remembered this. I just found it. And I want to share this because
we'll get demonetized probably.
That's all right. It is what it is. I want to share this, and I think it'd be funny to talk about this here on the show. So AI was a major theme with a lot of these Super Bowl commercials yesterday, right? There was tons of AI commercials. One of so there's like 4 different major players, like ChatGPT, Gemini, Anthropic, which is Claude. I can't think of who the 4th one would be, but there's several like major players. So, we've talked a ton about advertising, and I want to show you. So I'm just going to show you this ad, and then we can talk about it really fast, okay? And then you can kind of tell me your thoughts. The reason I said it was savage is this ad takes a shot at ChatGPT, and then as I'm pulling it up on YouTube, ChatGPT was the that ad that played before.
Sponsored.
Yeah. So I'm like, good job, ChatGPT, for doing that. But okay, here we go.
Hey, can I get a 6-pack quickly?
Perfect. That is a clear and achievable goal. Would you like me to tailor a personalized workout plan?
Yes.
Perfect. Let me personalize this for you. Let's start with your age, weight, and height. Whenever you're ready.
5'7", 23 years old, 140 pounds.
Got it. I'll create a plan that focuses on aesthetic strength training. But confidence isn't just built in the gym. Try Step Boost Max, the insoles that add 1 vertical inch of height and help short kings stand tall.
What?
Use code HeightMaxing10 for big discounts.
Oh,
What's the difference between me and you?
Yeah. Okay, so the reason I wanted to share that, we talked a ton about.
I'm here for it, actually.
Right. So we talked a ton privately, a little bit publicly about. I guess what we've gotten in trouble for, just to really quickly recap a little bit of this is we've gotten in trouble before for people saying, well, you're trying to tear down your competitors to build
if
up
you
your
can
own
even
brand.
call it, if you can even call it trouble. I have something to say following this. Go ahead.
Yeah. What was that then though? That was just played on the biggest stage in the world. And what was that? Like, come on. Like, so yeah, what do you think about that?
I think it's creative, funny, a little bit of a jab, and
Yes.
who cares? It's competition.
Yes. Yes.
One thing I have noticed, and I don't know if you have, I've thought about posting it, but I'm like, I'm just going to leave it alone. And here I am about to say it.
Here we go.
On the show.
Seatbelts, everybody.
Have you ever noticed the
We're
trend?
in overtime.
Most of the time, the people, there's two things I'm going to say. The people that complain the most about attacking your competitors by just critiquing, really? I wouldn't say it's attacking. It's like attacking, I feel like, is a very different thing. Critiquing or, poking fun at, like that commercial, I would say is poking fun. I wouldn't even say it's attacking.
Yeah.
I think most of what we do is poking fun. And critiquing. I wouldn't really categorize a whole lot of things we've done as attacking, maybe a few things, but the people that complain the most about it are the people that do it the most as well. And sometimes in the same, like they'll put a post up and they'll mention like, I don't need to attack my competitors. And then like a paragraph later, they're attacking competitors. It's like in the same post.
I think there is a line here of like, if I'm going after Christian's character and I'm trying to cut him down as a person, and I'm not even talking about his business, I'm just saying Christian's a bad guy.
Bad person.
He drives a terrible car. He talks bad. Like if I just started like trying to critique his character and I'm not even talking, to me, that's like I'm attacking. Sure. That's a straw man art. That's a logical fallacy to attack his character and say, well, Christian sucks, so his business sucks. That's stupid. But what we just saw there played at the biggest stage is one of the major AI players is saying, hey, I think that business model that our competitor is doing is a bad business model, and we're not doing that. And I'm all for it. 7-figure CRM, we're about to do exactly what you just saw. We're planning exactly what you just saw. We're planning on running those same type of ads for 7-figure CRM. They didn't name ChatGPT in that ad, but it was very clearly directed at ChatGPT. But I thought that was really interesting, being that it was Super Monday. I wanted to try to slip that in here at the end of the show. I thought that was great.
I would love to talk about this for an entire show, to be honest.
Could be an entire episode. Absolutely. It could be an entire
We'll
episode.
see. If you guys would like to see us take that topic and run with it a little deeper, let us know in the comments section. Or if you'd like for us to just stop talking about it.
Are you mad that we're attacked? Really fast. My final thoughts on today's episode. I think that, understanding how CMS operates is important as an agent. Doing what we can to try to make a difference, I think, is important, even if it does feel like we're screaming into the wind. I think finding good organizations like HAFA and supporting them is helpful. At the end of the day, though, the best thing I think we can do is probably to just try to get an understanding of the rules, the understanding of what's going on, and just figuring out your best path forward as an agent. That's what Christian and I are constantly trying to do. So those are my final thoughts.
Well said. I agree. Guys, thanks so much for watching all the way to the end. Hope you enjoyed 195. Glenn, good to have you back. And everybody, thanks so much for watching. We'll see you on the next one. Here's to your massive success. And make sure to comment for Freebie Friday. Thanks, everybody.